Right, so Kimi Antonelli is all set and ready to make his debut in Formula 1 at the Australian Grand Prix next year. Or is he? Interesting article here on the F1 Chronicle.com questioning whether he's actually ready for a full-time Formula 1 race seat next year. Let's have a look here on the website about this. So, the jury is out regarding the start of Kimi Antonelli's F1 career. That's the view of well-known former F1 star Juan Pablo Montoya, who admits he was not impressed with the 18-year-old's initial Friday practice outings in Monza and Mexico. Italian teenager Antonelli crashed within minutes of hitting the track in Monza. There was so much hype around the whole weekend, and I guess you could say I learned a lesson the hard way with that in FP1, he said. Montoya had a more critical view. He came out onto the track and gave the impression that he wanted to break the lap record straight away, he told Radio Colombia. Then he wrecked the car. I mean, part of the reason why he crashed was potentially the same reason why the safety car crashed as well. There was some sort of a problem at the Parabolica, was there not? So, yeah. Interesting one. I get the viewpoint that it was disappointing. I was disappointed. I wanted to see him get a full session, but there you go. Antonelli makes no secret of the fact he took a much more cautious approach to his second outing in Mexico. I had more time to prepare because it was not an F2 weekend, he said. It was much cleaner session and was definitely what was needed after Monza. I didn't want to take any risks and I learned a lot. Again, Montoya has a vastly different take on what happened. In Mexico, in my opinion, he drove too cautiously so as to not damage anything. I mean, he drove cautiously not to damage anything. Too cautiously is a subjective kind of a viewpoint, really. In Monza, he was criticised because he put the car off the track. Now in Mexico, he was too slow, and of course, it's not good either. You have to find the right balance, and I see that as a problem. Kimi has the ability and the speed to compete in Formula 1, there's no doubt about that. He continued, referring to the youngster who will replace Ferrari-bound Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes next year. He has done far more laps than any of the new drivers like Ollie Bearman, Jack Doohan or Gabriel Bortoleto. Well, I mean, he's done less laps than Bearman because Bearman's done a few Grand Prix. So he's definitely had more time in the car than Antonelli, but alright. Thanks to all those test drives in the old Mercedes on numerous different tracks. But I asked myself, is he really ready to take forward this step? Some believe that team boss Toto Wolff is planning to bring Valtteri Bottas back to Mercedes as a reserve driver next year in an easy plan B in the event that Antonelli really struggles next year. But Wolff told Kronen Zeitung newspaper that he isn't thinking any other driver, like Max Verstappen for instance, except Antonelli and George Russell for now. You have to have confidence in your drivers, he said. You have to give your drivers maximum support in order to be successful. Only if things really go wrong will we consider other options. It's like flirting with others while you're trying to make your relationship work. Interesting. That's an interesting comparison there these made, alright. I mean, look, the proof will be in the Australian pudding when we, go to Melbourne in a few months' time. Antonelli is going to be in the Young Drivers Test, I believe, in Abu Dhabi. He's going to take part in pre-season testing in Bahrain as well. He's had a lot of experience in the car relatively compared to some rookies, what they've had to do in the past when it comes to F1 debuts. He's young, he's raw, he's going to make mistakes, but we've seen real flashes of brilliance from him as well. I think the thing in Mexico was very sensible, to be honest, to drive within himself like that, just get experience of driving the car, because it's a very tough track to drive around too. It's very low grip. I talked about the altitude and stuff in the build up to that race and how it is a real problem there in terms of the actual grip that you can get from the car is a lot less than at other circuits because of the thin air. So I feel like you can criticise him for Monza. I get that. I understand that. I mean, it was really weird how he got announced for Mercedes in 25 when literally hours after he crashed it, which wasn't ideal, So, yeah, he's going to make mistakes, but it's better that he makes these mistakes now and just gains in confidence for, when he makes his debut in 25. So I've got no doubt. I think he'd be a great driver one day. He'll probably get beaten all ends up by George Russell, in my opinion, in his first season. But I'll tell you now, Antonelli's going to have the odd race where he absolutely blows us away. He gets a incredible podium, an incredible win, maybe, He's got that in him. Anybody who saw his drive at the Hungarian Grand Prix in Formula 2 will know exactly what I'm talking about. But guys, what do you think? Do you think Mercedes are having a plan B by putting Valtteri Bottas in the reserve role for the car? Do you think that Antonelli is ready for Formula 1? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below as always. And for much more F1 news pieces and opinion pieces, keep it tuned right here to the F1Chronicle.com. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well. And we'll see you very soon, guys. Have a good one.